In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear lower control arm on your Mercedes Benz C300. It's located behind your rear wheel. Using a 17mm socket, we are going to remove our wheel. Make sure you have a hand on the top. And remove it. You're going to want to remove your nut here if you have one. Ours is missing. And there's another one on the outside for this plastic shield that you can remove as well. Using an 18mm socket with a swivel and an extension, I'm going to loosen this nut and hold it still with a 12mm Torx bit with 12 point. Now we're going to use a punch and push this bolt out. If it's still not coming out easily, you can use a ratchet on the other end, power ratchet, and just unscrew it out. So now we're on the other end. We're going to do this side. Make sure you mark where this washer is, like we did with this blue mark here. It's an adjustable cam washer. For this other end, I have a 12-point Torx bit holding the head of the bolt, but you really can't get a ratchet in there or anything, so I have locking pliers holding the socket so I can hold that still while I get this nut off. We've jacked up our control arm a little bit just to give us a little bit more space since our bolt is pretty stuck. So we're going to keep working at it and taking it out. Almost there. And there we have it. I'm going to take this out now. Now we're going to take this cam off and just back it out. Sometimes some crud gets in that little area on the bolt, so just dig it out. And you can slide it off a little easier. Now you got to push this bolt through. And just to point out, there is an oblong hole here. It looks like it's not going to clear the gas tank, but there is this groove here, and if you have it pushed this way as you're pushing it out and moving this arm over, we're actually going to lower our knuckle at this point. Get things out of the way. So I can show you. You should be able to push this way and get the bolt out. So now I'm holding my bushing still because our bolt was stuck inside the metal sleeve in there, and I'm just air hammering it out. Finally getting some movement on it. Hopefully you don't have this much trouble, but if you do, this is a good way to go about it. Once you get it that far, you're going to need a punch. I have this control arm on the other side of the knuckle where it doesn't live typically, but just to get that bolt out, you do need to put it on an angle. And once you get it that far, you're going to reach up and guide it out. At this point, I'm going to release my locking pliers too, because I don't need those anymore. Towards the end there, you're going to need a pry bar, and you're just going to push it out. We're almost out. And there we have it. Once you get that out, you can pull this down and take it out. Make sure you clean up your area and your holes so it's easier for install, and also clean off your bolt. It's a good idea to put some anti-seize on anything that is adjustable. You want to get your bolt in this little groove in the gas tank and make sure that that goes in and out smoothly. Once you get that lined up somewhat, you're going to put your part in. You're going to pull it out a little bit and make sure it stays in that groove there. Slide your bushing into place. Push that bolt through on that groove. Once you get your bolt started, you're then going to put your control arm in front of this part of the knuckle, the opposite side it actually lives on, in order to get the bolt through. The other trick is to take a pry bar and gently pry the gas tank a little bit away from the head of that bolt. So by that I mean don't put the pokey side over by it. Just push it a little bit this way, and that'll give you enough clearance to get this bolt through. Once you get it somewhat through, you can continue the rest of the way. Move your control arm where you need it, and it should line up. Like so. Now we're going to put our cammed washer on. To do that, make sure that you remember that you marked where it was, and you line your bolt up accordingly. So my taller side was on this side, so I'm going to aim it there and just turn the bolt wherever you need it. So I'm going to back off my bolt a little bit, fit that washer in there, and then push it through while holding pressure on that washer. And now we're going to put our nut on. Now we're going to hold it still with our socket and locking pliers. And we're going to tighten this up, keeping that cam washer where it is. I'm just going to push out a little on the knuckle and push this bolt through. Now that you've gotten it lined up, you're just going to give it a tap. And now let's put our nut on the other end. Get that started and tighten it up. All right, hold that head of the bolt and tighten up the nut. Now that we have everything snugged up, I'm going to get this wheel at ride height, and then we're going to torque everything down. Now we're going to torque this to 48 foot-pounds. I'm holding the head of the bolt just to make sure it doesn't spin. And we're going to do the same on the other end. So now we're going to tighten this down and torque it to 48 foot-pounds. Now you can remove the jack, and if you took out a nut holding up this plastic shield, you can put that back. Make sure you go down to your local shop and get an alignment. Anytime you do suspension work, it's a good idea. Make sure you line up your wheels and get that first one started. You are going to need your socket to do that. And continue the rest of the way. Now we're going to snug these up. Do not over tighten. We're going to just tighten them in a star-like pattern. We're going to torque our wheel to 96 foot-pounds. We're going to do that in a star-like pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.